It began, as many things do. Not with a grand revelation, not with a tragedy, nor even with any particular news article or fragment of overheard speech, no. It began instead with a question. My own question. The kind of question one asked quietly while seated alone, neither in joy nor despair, but in that gray, eternal space where thoughts come uninvited. How would I do it? Not how would they do it? Not they, not them, not the conspirators or the oligarchs or the well-dressed men whose names appear in no registry, but whose shadows fall across continents. No, I asked how I would do it. And that question changed something in me. It came, I think, during the days of the plague, the one they called COVID. The strange time when the world did not collapse but pause, and in that pause some of us began to see. The cities empty, the streets went silent, and the noise of civilization, which had been so loud as to deafen us, finally quieted just long enough to allow another kind of sound to emerge. The sound of arrangement. The architecture of control. Alongside the disease came the towers 5G. They called them as if the name itself meant nothing. Harmless letters and a number. And then came the vaccine, swift, unquestionable, sacred. But I, fool that I am, began to notice not what was being said, but how it was being said, and who was allowed to say it and who was not. I fell, as one does, into the underground rivers of information. I do not say this proudly, I make no boast. It is in fact a confession. I watch the fringe voices, Donut, Tommy, Truthful, Peters, artists, their names absurd, their theories outlandish, but they were not dull. No, they were anything but dull. And there were others, the solar prophet warning of micronovas from the sun, the anonymous activists who shared images of pyramids of strange architecture no horse and buggy civilization could have constructed. The icy wall of Antarctica, the live feed from the space station, where pixels betrayed secrets. I was overwhelmed. Everywhere explanations, everywhere culprits, and yet something gnawed at me. Because if these things were true, if any of them were true, then they were true in a way that felt staged, exaggerated, designed not to hide, but to be found. And so again I asked, how would I do it? If it were my aim to bind humanity, not in chains, not in camps, but in thought, what would I do? And then I saw it, not like a flash, more like a door quietly swinging open in the hallway I had forgotten. I would not build towers, I would not poison wells, I would not appear in photographs, nor allow symbols to slip into pop culture like breadcrumbs left for the overcurious. I would not wish to be discovered, in fact, I would build the system in such a way that discovery would be impossible. Because no one would even think to look where the truth was hidden. The professional, the true manipulator, does not wish to be feared. He does not wish to be admired. He wishes only to be absent. And so, language, yes. That is where I would go. Oh, not to bombs, not to food, not even to currency, but to the tongue, to the sound, to the structure, to English. The most widespread, the most accommodating, the most pliable language ever to have risen among men. It is not a language. It is a surface, a reflective pool into which meaning is poured, stirred, and remade. If I were to do it, that is where I would begin. I would make English the delivery system. I would lace the words with hidden bindings. I would alter syntax to enforce submission. I would compress contradiction into common phrases, so that to speak them would be to to enact the system's will without knowing, and no one would resist, because no one would see. They would use the weapon every day in love letters and laws and lullabies and arguments against tyranny. The revolution would be written in the code of the master. And when they pointed fingers at presidents, at corporations, at hidden cabals, they would do so in the very tongue that has made rebellion unthinkable. That is how I would do it. And now I cannot unask the question, nor can I unhear the answer. And what troubles me most, what shakes me to my core, is not that the idea is terrible, but that it is elegant, silent, invisible, and therefore likely true.